Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. Jasmine Crockett is feeling the heat. There are millions of people who now want her thrown out of Congress for her misleading statements about Jeffrey Epstein and her attempts to tie him to the Republican Party. She smeared a number of Republicans, and she had an embarrassing mix-up. She had to walk it back, and while she was confronted on CNN about it, of all places, and she looks like an absolute fool. Let's not forget, Jasmine Crockett has her sights set on higher office, even than Texas Congresswoman. But before we get into the story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Well, Jasmine Crockett was acting like a complete fool in response to her floor speech where she attempted to defend Virginia Islands delegate Stacey Plaskett after she had been busted coordinating with the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, and that was during a 2019 House hearing, and she was attempting to collude with Epstein via text and was getting coached on how to interrogate an attorney named Michael Cohen in order to best attack Trump. So as I said earlier, this is yet more evidence that Epstein and Trump were enemies, and Epstein was using the Democratic Party to attack Trump and to essentially provide them with his input in order to go after one of the Democratic Party's political enemies. Now, to say that this is sleazy behavior is an understatement, but Jasmine Crockett nonetheless did her best to defend it. And when she did, she claimed that Jeffrey Epstein had funded a number of Republicans, and this included Mitt Romney, Lee Zeldin, who is now the EPA administrator, John McCain, who's passed away, of course, Sarah Palin, former Alaska governor, and others. And they claimed that Epstein was funding these Republicans. However, it was quickly revealed that Jasmine Crockett was misleading the American people because these donations came from a different individual, a Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who was a physician from Long Island, not the late financier who died in prison in 2019. So she was confronted on CNN about it, and this is extremely embarrassing. Let's take a look.
Democrat who's been on defense over Jeffrey Epstein is Stacey Plaskett. She represents the Virgin Islands. She was texting with Jeffrey Epstein the day of Michael Cohen's hearing. Her questions pretty closely followed the text messages between the two of them to ask about Rona Graff, Trump's longtime assistant. You were defending her today, or in recent days, yesterday, and you talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies.
Well, Jasmine Crockett, she has really stepped in it this time, and she's hopefully going to get redistricted once the smoke clears from legal cases. As we reported earlier, a Texas appeals court had put in a temporary injunction on the electoral map, claimed that it cannot be used in the 2026 midterm elections, and that very well may wind up in the Supreme Court. So the Democratic Party, it is really not sending its best. Jasmine Crockett could, at the end of the day, be out in 2026 because of redistricting. But even so, she wants to run for senator, is the word on the street. And Jasmine Crockett, well, with these kinds of remarks, attempting to smear Republicans by falsely attributing Jeffrey Epstein's donations to them, this is not credible. And, maybe she should be thrown out of Congress, but, that we'll leave that up to you to decide, and the lawmakers in Congress. Weigh in with your own opinion. We always appreciate hearing from you at Explain America.